Since 2003, this is the Sports Source, East Tennessee's #1 sports talk show.
Presented by Pipe Wrench, and by Junk Be Gone, and by the Garza Law Firm.
With your host, John Pennington. The Sports Source starts now.
Good Sunday morning and welcome into the Sports Source here in the Junk Be Gone studios. We're happy to have you with us for the state of Tennessee's only live year-round 90-minute sports show. That's all possible due to our sponsors and to you. And today we got a good one for you. NFL draft was yesterday. You've got the transfer portal open still with basketball. So today's show is going to be a whole lot about talent. Talent coming in, talent going out. Talent for basketball, talent for football. How does Tennessee's talent in football stack up versus other SEC teams? Do they have to improve their pro production to improve their recruiting? Let's talk NIL as well. It's a lot to cover, so let's get right into this show. This first segment's brought to you by Junk Be Gone. And you know how much I believe in and how much I use Junk Be Gone. And I bet you know other people who use them just as much as I do. All next month, folks, throughout the month of May, rent a 15-yard dumpster. Get one extra day completely free. 1 day free, added on if you rent the 15-yard driveway dumpster, which is what I do. You can also call them and get their team to come out and help you haul this stuff out. If you want to be an idiot like me, you could just do it yourself. You can hire them to do it instead of me do it myself. Junk Be Gone. JunkBeGone.biz, and you can't hire me to come clean out your house either. That's what it sounded. Sorry, I'm watching someone roll a podium out for some reason. All right, well, let's get right into it. Right over here, we've got Chuck Cavaleris. Right here, we got Will West, Ryan Callahan, Bob Hodge. Furniture moving on the set today. All right, caught me off guard. I want to talk about the draft firsthand. Let's take a look. Well, we're not going to take a look. We'll just tell you. Overall numbers, you had 3 guys get drafted. I said last week if you had 4 get drafted, it would be your best run since 2006 to 2008. It's still your best run since 2006 to 2008, but 13 guys over the last 3 seasons since Josh Heupel arrived. Right. We'll get into that, but considering the departures when he came here, the smoldering wreckage that he inherited, pretty good to get 13 people in 3 years. But 3 yesterday, kind of a disappointment. I didn't know you thought you may get 4, but you got 3. We'll talk about them in order, and I want to know what you thought about their landing spots. We'll start with running back Jalen Wright. Went to the Dolphins. There was talk that he could go in the 2nd round, talk that he could go in the 3rd round. Yeah. He wound up going to the 4th round. He was about the 4th or 5th running back off the board, which surprised me. I think he's a heck of a steal, and unfortunately went to the Miami Dolphins. Bob Hodge, your thoughts on Jalen Wright and his landing spot with the Dolphins?
I agree with you. I thought that Jalen Wright would go quite a bit higher than he did. But as far as his landing spot with the Dolphins, I think he's in a good place. Your lead running back, Mozart, is 32. I did not realize he was that old. Mm-hmm. For some reason, it seems like he's just been a name now for about 5 years. So your lead guy is getting older. Your second guy, whose name I cannot pronounce.
A-Chain is, call him.
Ran for 800 yards last year, and then there's a huge drop-off to your next guys. I personally think that Jalen Wright is in a good place for 2 reasons. One, because of what I just said, aging lead back, second guy, not bad. But the Miami Dolphins love speed, and Jalen Wright is a speed guy. So I think even though he went a lot later than I thought he would go, I think he ended up in a good place.
Right. Yeah, don't forget they traded up to get him, right? Yep. They gave up a 3rd-round pick, too. So tells me they really want him. And
they should have taken him in the 3rd round and kept the pick.
I wasn't surprised that it was the 4th-round pick, really. I thought that maybe he goes in one of those compensatory picks towards the end of the 3rd round. But if you look at it, the guys that were drafted in front of him, there was a stretch that Blake Corum was the best player in college football 2 years ago, right, before he got injured. So I understand, and while Wright has all the physical tools and had a good year this year, I understand the point of view going with someone else ahead of him, but I think it's a great spot for him. Yeah. One, they want power back, who has speed, who can stay on the field during pass blocking downs. Jalen Wright can fit all
which
three.
Which he's got to work on.
He could at least stay on the field.
Oh, he's
and be
not a
part of what
liability.
you're
He's
doing.
just
Yeah.
that's one thing he's going to have to improve on, though.
And this came up on social media a week or two ago, and some Tennessee fans loved to dump on the person that brought this up. But Jalen Wright's an interesting evaluation too, because of the yards before contact, the wide open spaces you sometimes get in Tennessee's offense. He averaged 7 yards a carry, but how much of that was him, and how much of that was the system producing it? So that's an interesting part of this. Is he's a good back, he has a lot of speed, but the film might not stand out compared to some other guys who make people miss in the open field.
He may not make it. Okay, I go back to the fact that he had 10 guys on his back. Once a game,
Yeah.
he would
Yeah.
move a pile
Yeah.
down the field.
Averaged
I think
4.6 yards after contact this year,
Yes.
top 10 in the nation.
And got a lot better throughout his career. So I still see the arrow pointing up on him. So that's why the top 5 back, but I'm just saying he's an
Yeah.
interesting evaluation.
yeah.
No, I disagree with Will. I would have taken him a lot earlier.
I would. I wish the Patriots
In
had
a
taken
league
him.
that's the valued back, so.
And speaking of the Patriots,
What a great pick they made.
quarterback
John.
Joe Milton goes to the Patriots in the 6th round. I'll let you guys discuss it rather than vomit. Actually, I hope he does well. He's an 8-4 quarterback. That's what he is. And if you can't process in a system that is made to make life easy on the quarterback, I don't know how you get to the NFL and process. And if you've got the giant arm, but you're under your 25% or something and 20% completion percentage on those deep balls, I don't know how that's going to improve at the next level. So, and there has been talk, FYI, that he might be moved to tight end. We laughed at that last week. This is a guy that doesn't seem. There are times when he looked like he liked contact, other times where it's like he shied
Yeah.
away from it.
Yes.
Well, they asked Gerard Mayo, VFL, the new Patriots coach after the draft, could you move him to tight end? He said, we'll talk about that down the road, but we draft him as a quarterback. They asked Joe Milton, and his immediate response was, that will never happen.
Yeah.
So at a time when all these other players are saying, it's just an honor to be drafted, anything they ask, I'll do it, it stood
Yeah.
out a little bit. He's like, that will never happen. So anyway, your thoughts on
When you got the quarterback of the future in Milton, and you got May to be his backup.
That's right.
Line. So your quarterback room should be fine for a while.
the number of middle fingers I'm going to want to throw today but can't.
John,
Go
I
ahead.
was surprised by the reaction on NFL Network. And Charles Davis and a lot of those guys, they thought it was a great pick. And I'm looking
That's
at it
Charles
thinking,
Davis doing his
if
VFL thing.
if your
Come on.
roster is so
he's
good and
insane.
so full of talent and you don't have glaring needs across the board, go ahead and make that pick.
That's not exactly my franchise, my
yeah.
expansion franchise
But, I
Patriots.
mean, it's
But as
just,
a flyer in the 6th
It's a
round,
flyer,
right?
yeah.
To see if it
we
could
don't
work.
have room to take flyers.
I would also say I have questions about how, like, to be a quarterback in the NFL, you have to eat, breathe, poop football, and I don't know that Joe Milton is that interested in football enough to be a franchise quarterback in the NFL. So it's a raffle ticket, right? That's what you've done is pulled a raffle ticket with a 6th round pick.
Should have spent a raffle ticket on Michael Pratt from Tulane, who went around later to the Packers, who know something
There's
about
a reason I
quarterbacks.
do not buy raffle tickets.
Thoughts
My
on
question is, at UT, he throws an orange 100 yards. What will he throw up in New England? Is it like a musket ball?
a bowl of clam chowder. So,
It's like Will said, it's a lottery ticket, is however you want to put it. But it goes back to the old adage: NFL teams cannot deny a guy with talent that they think they can fix, and that 6 years of college proof is not enough to convince these guys that, hey, he can throw the 15-yard out. I can make something out of him.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope he does well. I don't think he's a bad person or anything. And again, we ranked him. He was, 6th best quarterback on our list of the 2000s for Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's not like he was, no offense to Jacob Worley or Nathan Peterman. Peterman lasted in the league forever as a backup. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope he does well. But it honestly makes me question new Patriots brain trust, VFL, Gerard Mayo's head coach, and Elliott Wolf as GM. That you've got this many holes in your roster. You look at all
Yes.
the quarterbacks you could take as a backup if you want if you want to double dip. And you looked at this guy and you said, yeah, that's the guy. If you looked at the same tape I saw last year and you took him, I don't know how long VFL Gerard Mayo is going to be a head coach. I think we covered Joe Milton.
I would say if you look at the last 3 rounds of the draft yesterday, it was about who has the athletic ability, not who actually can play.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that, which I thought was kind of interesting when I saw that all 3 rounds for all teams.
And a 6th round pick's not guaranteed to make a roster either. So that's
No.
another reason it's a lottery ticket. You take a shot. If it doesn't work out, you throw him back.
it's like a fish.
Yeah, it's an awfully big fish. All right, cornerback Kamal Hadden.
I love that. I love that for him. I love the fit for him. He's at Kansas City.
I was going to finish, but
Oh,
that's
I apologize. Sorry.
Kamal hadn't taken 6th round to the Chiefs. about 20 picks after, about 18 picks or so after Joe Milton.
Steve Spagnuolo, he drafts corners to fit specifically the thing that he wants to do. I love the spot for him, for Spags to get him where he did. I think it's as good of a shot for Kamal Hadden to be a starter in the NFL as maybe any of the other teams possibly
Well,
could.
on that, you just hope the shoulder holds up, right? I mean, that was the surgery he had after getting hurt in the Alabama game. To me, that's a great. What is it? Snead, the corner that was kind of like all pro. They instead of franchising him, traded him to the Titans. That saved him $19 million. So it's a great spot, but is he going to be able to be healthy enough?
Well, surely he recovered from a shoulder. And you would hope that's not a career-ending shoulder.
Well, yeah, I mean, you hope not. But, I mean, that's asking a lot for 6 weeks.
He's got to press. That's the thing is if you're going to play in Steve Spagnuolo's system, you have to press hard.
Well, the good news is for him, you go into the draft. If you go back to the start of the draft, a lot of people had cornerback listed as number one need for the Chiefs. They didn't take any other corners. They took safety a little bit earlier. But, instead of addressing that need early, which was a big need, they wait till later. That's a good sign for Kamal Hadden, I would think, Ryan.
I agree. I think you couldn't pick a better spot, honestly, for Kamal Hadden because of that, because of the need at corner, and because, again, the Chiefs have a tendency to make the most of their draft picks. They've got a lot of guys on their roster that have been fourth round, fifth round guys. They've turned into starters. So to be able to see the fit there, and that's one of those franchises you just kind of trust. The way for years it's been the Ravens, the Patriots at times. It's been all these different teams.
At times.
Well, we'll see now, I'm saying. But
I mean, here's a guy in his career at Tennessee had 6 interceptions, and they missed. He had 3 as a senior, right? So they missed his playmaking when he wasn't back there.
I had read that if he doesn't hurt his shoulder, he was working his way up the draft board during the season.
There was some third or fourth round.
The hurt shoulder kind of knocked him back down to where he'd gone into the season at.
Right.
I think it's a good landing spot. You?
I think it's a great landing spot.
You got your take. I'm trying to get everybody here. Yeah, the other thing that's good, Andy Reid, as you say, you trust these people. It's the coaches. Spagnuolo, Reid, they know how to run a good program there. Obviously, 3 world championships will do that. I think he might have had the best landing spot of anybody. And then Wright number 2, and then Milton, who didn't sound like he was thrilled to be the number 2 guy behand Drake May. Apparently, he thought he should be the first-round guy.
And it did seem like Hadden grew up some last year.
Yeah.
After
what's so funny, I just keep going back to how we blistered him after the Florida game when he made that tackle downfield or bumped the guy, and then he winds up making a tackle and tearing his shoulder up. So maybe he needs to go to the NFL and teach those other guys, tackle like this. All right, very good guy. Oh, and let's take a look at our undrafted free agents over here. Aaron Beasley signed with the Seahawks. McCallan Castles, who some people thought could get drafted, he went to the Eagles. Jeremiah Crawford to Carolina. Gabe Giudice went to the Titans. Ramel Keaton, I'm sure Josh Ward is thrilled. He went to the Las Vegas Raiders. Jalen McCullough to the LA Rams. Jacob Warren. It's one of those things like Joe Burrows and Jamar Chase. You have to get somebody the same. So the Patriots got Joe Milton and Jacob Warren. D. Williams to Seattle. Jabari Small, that's been reported that he's close to signing with Tennessee, or I haven't seen anything official yet.
His agents, I think, have put that out that he's signing with the Titans. Now, some of these are probably camp invites. That's the key. So these are not all 90-man roster invites. These are rookie mini camp, and we'll see.
Well, none of these guys may stick, but that's why they're on the little wipey board.
I like D. Williams. I like the spot for him, especially with the new kickoff rule.
That
could be one to pay attention to.
There's some value there, yep.
Okay, when we come back, let's shift to hoops. We're going to get back to football, trust me. We're going to shift to basketball for a few minutes as Rick Barnes continues to build next year's roster. We'll give you all the latest next. Coming back on the Sports Source.